January 2022, I started making plans for a motorcycle trip to Tuktoyaktuk, Northwest Territories. I invited my friend Larry to join me. The plan was to leave Monday, June 18th, but bad weather in Manitoba and Saskatchewan forced us to postpone until June the 15th. So on Wednesday, June the 15th, we left Dryden on an epic journey that would be 11,000 kilometer round trip. I'm riding a V-Strom 1000, Larry a Yamaha Super T. We decided to try to stay off the Trans-Canada Highway and take more northerly routes through Manitoba, Saskatchewan, and Alberta. This would take us through Swan River, Manitoba, Prince Albert, Saskatchewan, and Slave Lake, Alberta. Day 4, we reached Dawson Creek, which is the start of the Alaska Highway. Well, here we are, Fort St. John. It's about 8 o'clock in the morning, or at least we're on the Alaska Highway. Trying to get everything moving here this morning. It's getting pretty slow. We got to make 600 kilometers today, I hope. So I'm just ready to rock and roll here. Just waiting for Larry to do his business, and we'll go. The amount of signs at the Watson Lake sign forest is absolutely amazing. I could have spent days here just reading where everyone was from and when they traveled through this area. Unfortunately, we did not bring anything with us we could hang on one of these posts. Levels were extremely high all through Western Canada this year, with quite a bit of flooding in many of the towns along the way. Teslin was just one of those towns.
I guess the real adventure begins now. We're heading for we're in Dawson City, we're heading for the Dempster Highway. The weather's really nice right now. I'm hoping it's going to be good all the way up there, and maybe even on the way back, but we're just calling for some rain in Eagle Plains a couple days here, so we might end up in that, but I think we're tenting it from here. Doesn't look like there's anything available for rooms up there. Anyways, hopefully we don't have any problems. It's been a fun trip. A little apprehensive this morning for sure, but we're off anyways. All right.
Views along this stretch of the road were spectacular. The camera really didn't do it justice at all. Absolutely a beautiful day for a ride. The road was dry, but a little dusty.
Well, here we are, Eagle Plains. Tuk was the destination, but we've been hearing from everybody that Tuktoyaktuk is that 140 kilometers is really loose, deep sand and gravel, so we might be scaling it back. We're off to Inuvik tomorrow, and we'll see how that goes. If it's too bad, I guess we're not going to make Tuk this year. We'll just do the Inuvik and then back here and then back to Dawson. But we will get to visit the Arctic Circle at least. That's kind of cool. And we're at almost at the 5,000 kilometer mark, so 10,000 kilometers to home. That's a pretty good trip, I think. Make that, but we're gonna go to Inuvik anyways. Arctic Circle is pretty cool. No more trees, just Arctic tundra. We've been having a pretty good time. Camped last night, which is good. We made coffee this morning, then we went for breakfast at a restaurant, but that's okay. Everything's awesome. I'll just pan around here a little bit. I only have this camera on the back, so that's all I can use right now. Little better view here with the sun at my back. Same story, this is just a mural for the Arctic Circle. A couple of picnic tables. People stop, cool valleys. Yeah. Anyways, we're doing pretty good. Just starting to think about the return trip home now. Oh, my GPS kind of died this morning, but that's the way it is. Met a couple of guys on the trail driving Suzukis too, so they're turning around here and heading back. They're from southern BC, so yeah. So that's
the only wildlife we've seen on the Dempster Highway is this family of grizzlies eating along the side of the road.
You be cautious.
Finally arriving at the Yukon Northwest Territories border. It's up in the mountain. We were a little concerned as to whether or not the ferries would be operating due to the high water levels, but we lucked out and everything was a go. One of the fellows on this ferry told us that once we got off the ferry and up the hill, there was going to be 100 kilometers of perfectly straight, flat road. He was right. We also confirmed that the road to Tuk indeed was 6 to 8 inches of loose gravel and sand, so we decided we would not chance that and end our adventure in the Nuvik and head for home. The next morning, we took a ride into Nuvik to get some pictures of the famous igloo-shaped church. We began our trip home in drizzling rain, but fortunately for us, it didn't last very long. issues navigating the Dempster Highway. The weather was good pretty much all the way, and the only problem we had at all was dust. We decided to spend an extra night in Dawson City and maybe explore a little bit, go to the casino, and the next morning we took the ferry across and went on to the top of the World Highway. On the top of the World Highway was absolutely fabulous, every bit as good as anywhere on the rest of the trip. Back to Dawson City for some nightlife and maybe a little bit of exploring here as well.
So glad to see the palace ground where you're told all the lands of gold hip hooray. The Dawson Highway, won't wanna leave the wonderful world of Dawson City.
Out of Dawson, I was absolutely amazed at the rock piles that were left from 100 years of dredging gold in this area. Just so many of them. other than getting caught in a really bad rainstorm in Saskatchewan. The rest of the trip home was pretty eventful. However, I ended up with the new tire, of course, and I wore out a chain completely on this trip. I thought I'd throw in a few still pictures at the end here that Larry had taken along the trip.